Hey Donna, this is Cale again. I'm actually really appreciate your question about gray literature. This is something I've been thinking about how to approach this with students, how to talk to them about it and teach about this. So your question actually really gives me a good chance to kind of think about this. And as with finding a dissertation, what I found was it might be a little easier to explain this through a screencast. So what I'm going to do is just quickly review what gray literature is. You may already know this, but I found a really good article that kind of talks a little bit about what constitutes gray literature, and then show you how to find gray literature using three different databases available through the library's website. Okay, let's get started. All right, I want to start off by showing you these two tables. These are from an article from a librarian's publication on gray literature, and this is a really important topic to libraries right now because a lot of gray literature is being produced, and so there's a lot of discussion. What's the role of gray literature? And things like that. Basically, the crux of gray literature is communication from researchers and practitioners of a discipline that do not explicitly go through the peer review process, i.e., they're not found in scholarly journals or books. Luckily, this leaves us pretty open. There's a lot of possibilities for literature that can be used, and this lists a number of these possibilities: conference presentations and conference papers, theses and dissertations, you've already looked at some of that, raw data sets, technical and research reports, videos, teaching materials, government publications, preprints, working papers, invited talks, and if somebody is invited to give a presentation at a conference and a plenary session or a keynote session, miscellaneous materials to supplement publications. So let's say that a DVD is published by an expert and there's a kind of booklet that goes along with it. That'll work there. Audio. A great concept here is podcasts. Excuse me. A lot of podcasts can qualify as gray literature. On top of that, there's association papers, and this is like, well, NEA, for example. If there's a paper that's published for NEA members in a newsletter or something like that, that can work that way. Images, if you're into visual literacy and image analysis. So these other concepts. So the idea of gray literature is really wide open, and that allows you a lot of latitude in what you're going to consider in your research. So when you're looking for gray literature, the field is really wide open. Let me show you how to find gray literature in several different databases. Okay, let's start out here at the library's homepage. Um, Gosh, I'm sure you know how to get to this, but let me just cover it anyway. Research guides up right here on the homepage, and come down to the education research guide. What I want to do is I want to show you how to find gray literature in here in Education Research Complete, in ERIC, and then there's another database here, Research Library, kind of a new tool to me, but I really like it. So let me show you how to get into there. Let's go ahead and look at Education Research Complete first. Alrighty, we come here. Now the key to getting to gray literature, there's a couple things you can do. One is don't select this on the home page. I'm kind of going right to the advanced search screen, and to be honest, I'm not sure why it's immediately going there. But you can come down here to document type and publication type. These over here, this is where you can start looking for gray literature. Document type, so you can go in here and look for an article. That's going to be probably get you more peer-reviewed stuff. But you can come down here, editorial. Editorials written by experts, that can be considered gray literature. Um, Interviews with experts could be considered gray literature. That's kind of iffy depending on the publication. If it's a an education publication, then it could work. Um, Proceedings, this refers to conference proceedings. That'll definitely work for gray literature. Reports, again, stick with the idea of the NEA, right? An NEA report definitely works that way. Speech, again, if it's part of a conference journals or if it's like major educator giving a speech at the National Press Club or the White House or something like that, that could qualify as gray literature. You can also come over here to publication type. Document type refers to the individual file. Publication type will refer to where those are collected. So conference papers, oftentimes they're collected in conference proceedings, so that'll work. Periodicals, this will refer to kind of things like Education Today. They're not peer-reviewed journals, but they're kind of teachers writing to other teachers or administrators writing to other administrators. So this is definitely will work for gray literature. Reference book. These are sort of like the Encyclopedia of Education or something like that. So that'll work as gray literature. One thing to be careful though with reference materials, sometimes some professors don't think that they're rigorous enough. So you may want to check with your professor. Trade publications. This is again like Education Today or something like that. It's that level of information. So you can come into Education Research Complete and you can filter for those specific kinds of sources. ERIC, let me show you this. ERIC has quite a number of different resources available to you. Again, you come into the advanced stage. Excuse me. And you can come down here and so you journal articles. It'll allow you to look for specifically for journal articles. Those will probably be your peer reviewed pieces, so they won't strictly be gray literature, but documents in ERIC are definitely gray literature. They have some other publication types that can be helpful. Books, book chapters. Sometimes those are not peer reviewed quite as heavily, so you can look at those. Collected works proceedings. This will be like proceedings from a conference. Collected works serials. Serials refers to anything that's published on a regular basis, magazine, journal, trade publication. You can filter for those. Dissertations and theses. ERIC digests. ERIC digests are kind of reports that bring together a lot of different research work. They're referred to as meta-analyses. So that can point you towards good ideas. ERIC publications, we talked about that. Guides, so class guides, can qualify as gray literature. Remember, one of the types of gray literature was teaching materials. Historical materials, maybe not. Information analyses. That's a meta-analysis again. Legal, legislative, regulatory materials. So I mean, if there's a law involved with it, that can work there. Non-print media, that can refer to kind of video or audio files. Those can be there. Numerical or quantitative data. Remember, data sets are gray literature, so that can be there as well. Talked about reference materials. All kinds of reports, evaluative reports, research reports, just a number of different things that you can go with there. Right? Speech and meeting papers. Meeting papers could also refer to like meeting notes, like from a staff or faculty meeting. So you can filter for all of these different types of of materials. And let me show you one more. This is Research Library. Again, I'm kind of new to this product, but I'm starting to like it an awful lot. Let's see, I went ahead and already started the search Classroom and BrainBreak, kind of looking at those ideas that you had mentioned earlier. Perform the search, right, 6,274 results, a lot of hits. But you can come in and you can filter for specific types. You can come over here to source type, click more options, and it'll give you these different source types. You can click for trade journals or magazines, newspapers, conference reports and proceedings, books, audio and video works. Again, podcasts or video podcasts can qualify here as gray material. And you can also come down here to document type. It's kind of hard to explain the difference between a source type and a document type, and actually at this point I'm not sure it's really all that important for your purposes, so I'm not going to worry about there. Commentaries. Commentaries are kind of a way to think about commentaries is they're like an opinion piece written by an expert, so it's more than just somebody spouting off, what they think, a letter to the editor. Commentaries are by somebody who's learned in the field, and they're talking about a specific aspect of the field or what somebody else wrote. So that can be there. That can be a great piece of gray literature. Transcripts, like from interviews, that can be gray literature. Case studies, another great one. Case studies are looking at specifically at a school or something like this. And I'll bet you that there will be some case studies that you can look at for your gray literature component. Correspondence, that's letters. Refers to letters between practitioners or researchers and things. Literature review. Literature reviews pull together ideas from a lot of different sources. I like looking at literature reviews to help me kind of look for other sources. The audio and video clip, conference paper, conference proceedings. Yeah. Okay, so we're back here at the Research Library results screen. See what happens when you start applying these filters. Come into more options again. Let's say we just want to get rid of all the scholarly journals, and we just want to look at trade journals, reports, conference proceedings. Anything down here to look for? No, not right now. Alright, and what it's done now is filtered down all those down, and this one looks, these first two look like they could be pretty helpful using brain research in your classroom. And applying brain research in the classroom is a no-brainer, both from the Education Digest. So this is, again, that trade level information. Practitioners writing to practitioners rather than researchers writing to researchers. So this could be pretty helpful. So you can come on down and find those kinds of things. Here is a conference presentation. Yeah, so these are ways that you can look for specifically gray literature. Hopefully this helps. Let me know. Thanks. Take care.